Welcome to the Peak Performance and Peak Satisfaction podcast with Master Executive Coach Sherry Gregoff. Sherry helps business people perform better, get rewarded handsomely, and actually enjoy their work. After having her own career turnaround, she now helps other high-powered business professionals experience the same. Join the movement to work differently.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. It's common to white-knuckle our way through interviews, promotion discussions, compensation negotiations, performance ratings and reviews, and really any efforts at creating wins for the business. When leading your business and your career, one helpful perspective to take instead is to recognize it as a game. Your goal each day is to thoughtfully make the best decisions you can, to prioritize wisely, to take what action you can that day, and then trust that you made the right call and that it was enough. Before we jump in, I want to shout out one of my clients who had a win in this area. Here's what he shared with me. Sherry helped me decide to be aggressive in giving the interview process my best, while also staying detached from the outcome. This combination made me perform well without the tension of needing a certain result to be okay. This client was asked to consider a role a level up at his company, leading an exponentially larger group as a second-line leader for the first time. He had some informal meetings with key partners for this role, who were enthusiastically supportive and also encouraged him to give it his best. During this process of learning more about the role, he found out that one of the executive sponsors was adamant about interviewing externally. This raised some concern that he might be fighting an uphill battle as an internal candidate. Knowing this could introduce tension and make him grip this opportunity tighter, or feel he had to convince his interviewers that he was indeed the best candidate. Instead, we looked at all the evidence that he would be just fine in his highly successful career, even without securing this new role. It was a positive signal to be asked to consider the role and to receive such overwhelmingly positive support from so many interviewers and stakeholders. If for some reason the role was not a fit at this time, he recognized that all hope would not be lost. It was still a very net positive development. In this way, he was able to continue the interview process feeling authentic and secure. We recognized it was similar to how he would prep his son before playing in a college football game to stay loose, so unnecessary tension didn't keep him from playing his best. He naturally has had a champion mindset for his whole career. By deciding to be aggressive in his prep and recommendations for how he would lead in the role, but then quickly releasing the reins in the final outcome of the process, he felt just right. A high intent to excel with a low attachment to the result. He felt excited to compete for the role and accepting of where it would land. This resulted in high engagement and commitment to doing his best in the interview process, and then shifting gears to be really present with his family for a milestone trip they had planned the day after the process would conclude, without any carryover of intensity. I see wins like this across my clients, and I've experienced them in my own career as well. That's why I'm excited to talk about today's topic. Let's jump in and get you on your way to experiencing this also. So where does this white-knuckling, fighting our way through work come from? At the highest level, it's when the outcomes at work become our main driver for whether we feel okay or not. In a hunt for external validation through achievements, you can find yourself on a never-ending chase. It's like a run on a hamster wheel where there's a perennial carrot dangling in front of you. It's one way for an organization to keep you engaged and working hard, but it's also a recipe for burnout and professional dissatisfaction. Part of this goes back to programming many of us have that's twofold. Based on our early experiences as a child or in school, in competitive hobbies or our first jobs, it starts like this. You might have heard, work hard and do your best as the default guidance with respect to how much effort you put into anything you do. This can become glorified as the right thing to do. But there's one problem. You were never trained on how much is enough. There was no limit or boundary specified, or even the idea that it was a choice of yours to make. So when in doubt, we may fall back on this long-held guidance to work harder and to try your best without limit. It's one root cause for overworking and lack of boundaries on work, such that you may work yourself right into a health issue, or work yourself out of spending time with the people you love. Now that you're onto this, the leadership opportunity ahead is to decide with intention how much is enough, to set guardrails around trying your best. Maybe it's doing your best work within a set number of hours. Maybe it's re-underwriting your priorities so your best work doesn't overtake your health and the relationships that matter more. The boundaries may differ person to person, so it's personal, but one thing we know is that if you don't set them for yourself, no one else will. The second part of programming you may have is to chase the gold stars and the high grades. Maybe this started with trophies in your sport of choice as a kid, or school grades, or affirmation from adults based on your achievements. This can not only feel good, but this external validation can become paramount. It can displace any sense of self-source satisfaction in a job well done, or from successfully overcoming a challenge. You can, in effect, lose the ability or value of patting yourself on the back for effort or resilience, and instead wait for external validation of your achievements for it to really count or to matter. This can be dangerous, of course. Those gold stars are sometimes given out based on variables far out of your control. It's not always fair, equitable, or predictable. So now we have a system where we need this affirmation, but we can't predictably create it. You might find yourself chasing, feeling incomplete or insufficient until you get the next gold star in the form of rewards and recognition. Here's the thing, once you get it, the glow of that accomplishment may be shorter and shorter lived, which means you spend more and more time chasing the next hit of dopamine from hearing, "Job well done." It's not a pleasant experience, this chase for something outside of yourself to make you feel enough or okay. We have these two dynamics going on internally, which can have us white-knuckling our work and feeding off of external validation. We want to be appreciated at work, supported in all we do, celebrated for what we've accomplished. And when we aren't, well, then it may feel like something has gone horribly wrong. With our two-dimensional programming, we might work even harder to try to get it. Enter the hamster wheel dynamic. But let's look externally next at the dynamics around us. With the World Cup finals in my home state this year, the excitement around the games was at an all-time high locally. It was incredible to watch the skill and to celebrate all the cultures too. That said, there was lots of noise about the World Cup, fairness of calls, and complaints about refs. I've learned from the soccer players in my family that it's all part of the game. Some calls seem obvious and fair, and others don't. But it's like shouting into the wind to fight the calls, or to hang on to them after the game. So they've concluded that spending any energy or airtime there is just a distraction from mastering the game itself. I appreciated their resolve and acceptance. People were so emotional about this, and conspiracy theories abounded. But what a simple philosophy, to accept it as part of the game, to know it's not all in your control, the ref, the call, but to instead find how doing what you can is enough. This is a lesson we can take and use in our business careers. Redirect your focus to what's in your control, knowing there will be industry headwinds, fickle clients, and reinvention of the space, and that it's all part of the game. It's not personal. It's downright silly to shout at the wind, and it's a waste of energy that could instead be directed towards productive activity. This begs the question for you to consider. In your career, can you see it more as a game? which means you're always starting again and starting fresh. New ref, new day. Even if the last game wasn't what you hoped, will you get up and go again without letting aspects of your track record get in your head? Every day is a new game. Can you enjoy your career as sport with a high intent to excel and also a healthy level of detachment from the outcome? You win some, you lose some. You can also accept that there will always be another athlete who is better than you and another athlete who is worse than you. Obsessing over the leaderboard, gazing at it, judging yourself, or beating yourself up is just distracting you from practicing and building your skill. You instead can choose to compete only with yourself, always aiming to be better today and this year than you were last year. This detachment from outcomes and this choice to compete only with yourself can feel so foreign for two reasons. We wrap our safety up in our jobs. Your brain makes this shortcut in thinking. Your job means paycheck, and paycheck means food on the table. So doing well at work becomes a fight for your survival. This is the mental shortcut your brain takes to simplify its surroundings and to try to be efficient. We know we are safe, even without the gold star on this latest interview or on the big presentation at work. But our subconscious brain is relying on that mental shortcut and can forget. It defaults to work hard, get the gold star, to feel okay, to be safe. There's another element, too, beyond our safety. Our career can be seen as our primary identity. So when you're getting all the accolades, you feel worthy and valuable in your core identity. But when you're not, you feel like who you are is being threatened or taken away. You discount your self-worth. The paycheck or corporate title is your concrete measure of the value that you bring, and now it's on the decline. This can invite sheer panic. Here's why. Your self-worth as a person was never meant to be wrapped up in your career. You are infinitely valuable as a human. Ask your spouse or kids. They don't see you as less worthy based on how many gold stars you got at work this week. You are irreplaceable because you are you. This is the truth to remember and come back to every time the stakes in your career start to feel a little too high for comfort. Your safety and value as a human, depending on your career, is what has you white-knuckling your work, gripping your job, your title, and paycheck, clinging to your role as your lifeline, feeling highly attached to every development as a verdict on your safety and worthiness. And as any athlete will tell you, playing under those conditions will have you underperforming. Instead, they would suggest that you stay loose, to keep soft hands so you can react naturally and fluidly. In basketball, you might relax your grip on the ball. Soft hands help with dribbling, catching, passing, and having a better shooting touch. In baseball and softball, you would hold the bat firmly enough that it won't fly out, but don't squeeze it. A relaxed grip leads to a quicker, more fluid swing. In football, for receivers, catching with soft hands instead of letting the ball bounce off of stiff ones. In tennis, a relaxed grip helps generate racket head speed and better control, especially on serves and ground strokes. Players call it soft hands, and it's part of why you see many spin their racket in hand before every serve, a quiet reminder to keep the grip loose. These all serve as reminders that muscle tension slows you down. A simple cue many athletes use is to grip just tight enough to stay in control, but to remain as relaxed as possible. That balance gives you both control and quickness. Another client of mine is working in a business that's in an industry facing significant headwinds right now and is under serious pressure to recover. She's found herself working 20 hours some days. Even so, she's waking up during the night, thinking about what she hasn't done. Everything feels urgent. There's so much pressure that she can't drop anything. Most days she finishes just glad that she didn't get fired. She's not alone in this. It's a feeling inside the company that isn't just felt, it's discussed out loud. If they don't make it happen, this will be the end of the road for many of them as they try to contain costs to fit a shrinking top line. She's taking on more herself. She's putting more on her people. Her CEO wants everyone to feel the urgency. The attitude from the company is to muscle through. And in the middle of all that intensity, she worries she isn't communicating well with her team and isn't sure if she's doing it effectively. Despite all of this, she enjoys the role. She likes the job. She's contributing, and she doesn't want to go somewhere else. This particular season is just uncomfortable. Working all the time doesn't feel nice. Her team improved performance in the last period, a respectable finish, and she hopes they'll start hitting targets again this quarter, which would ease some of the pressure. She still sees her team back in the leader position globally, ultimately, but right now, there's heavy scrutiny on her and everyone else. So she feels like she has to do everything at once. No budget, no time, but still find a way to have fun as a team, even with no in-person gatherings. It's a slog. A season of wintering. She's also traveling a lot to visit her teams in different countries, which means her day job often gets pushed into the evening hours. All of it adds up to a mental load of everything needing to be done yesterday. To loosen her grip on the role in business, I reminded her that this is not her company. She is not single-handedly responsible for its fate, nor will all be lost if it doesn't turn around soon. She could always take a role somewhere else if it came to that. Different scenarios could transpire, and truly, she would be absolutely fine. All of her experience and skill she could bring to a different business and have an amazing career elsewhere. She wouldn't lose it. She would take it with her wherever she went. Her shoulders immediately relaxed away from her ears, and she said just hearing that pulled a huge burden off of her back. She recognized that under stress, she would take on more and more ownership. Her inner talk was filled with constant reminders that her job was on the line. Together, we set better boundaries so she could sustain this difficult season and still perform well without burning out. We noticed she was erring towards shielding her team and carrying more of the workload herself. So, we set a delegation plan so that she could hand off responsibilities to her leadership team and instead focus on managing up and managing horizontally, controlling the narrative from her team with the CEO and contributing to her peer set. All of these creative, thoughtful ideas only came after we reduced the tension, after she loosened her grip on the current way of managing her workload and her sense of responsibility for the entire company's business results. We concluded that the mental load got lighter once she recognized that the backlog of demand was infinite, and that was normal. Her job wasn't to carry every bit of unfinished work at all times. Her job was to choose what mattered most to complete today. This new perspective, playing with soft hands, where every day is a fresh opportunity, reduced the tension enough for her to perform at her best again. In our business careers, we want to grip just tightly enough to put forth our best work within healthy boundaries, while leading full and well-rounded lives. This requires keeping sight of a few truths. Here they are. Your self-worth is not your work product. Your safety is not your employment status or corporate title. Hard work has a boundary, and more is not more. Gold stars in terms of professional recognition aren't the end-all be-all. Circumstances outside of your control may lead to outcomes you didn't want, but it's in your control to see every day as a fresh start, a new game, no baggage, with acceptance of what happened before. To do what you can now and decide that is enough. If you struggle with this, Know that I see you and I've been there. I use a variety of techniques and strategies to help my clients reprogram their brains to drop the unhelpful and counterproductive thought patterns and habits of old. Together, we create new habits and internal talk tracks that allow them to perform at their best. Just like a coach of a sports team might train athletes to play with soft hands, this is one thing I help you do in your business career as your executive coach. It results in better performance and higher satisfaction. Anyone can learn it. It's built through practice together. For more guidance on setting useful boundaries that have you performing better and enjoying your work more, download my Leadership Playbook now with the Boundary Setting Checklist to get you on your way. Until next time.
Looking for support in applying the principles and strategies in today's episode? Sherry coaches clients one-on-one as their trusted confidant and advisor, helping each client create the work and life they had only dreamed of. To schedule your complimentary career strategy session, go to sherrygregoff.com/apply to book time with her today. It's one simple step that can change everything.